You might think building wealth just means saving more. But what if I told you that the richest people don't just save? They build 8 very specific kinds of assets. These assets generate income, growth and optionality, long after they stop working. What are they? Business, real estate, paper investments, commodities, time, health, online assets, and even your network. In this video, we'll unpack each one, how they work, why they matter, and how you can start building them too. And by the end, you'll see why mindset, more than money, might be your most powerful asset. You've been told to save money, to keep it safe in the bank, where it earns a little interest and feels secure. But here's the quiet truth. Cash is losing value every single day. Inflation eats it, slowly, invisibly, like rust on metal. If you held $100 10 years ago, it buys what 70 can today. That's not safety. That's erosion. The illusion of security is comforting, but it's not wealth. Real safety doesn't come from holding money. It comes from moving money into assets that grow, compound, and pay you back. That's what the wealthy understand instinctively. They don't hoard cash, they deploy it. Every dollar becomes a soldier, out there earning, protecting, multiplying. So, while most people celebrate a big savings account, the rich quietly ask, "What's my cash doing for me?" They use liquidity strategically, not emotionally. Enough for opportunity, not for fear. Because saving might make you feel secure, but investing makes you free. And to start building true safety, you'll need something even more powerful than money: relationships. Most people think networking is about collecting contacts. The wealthy see it differently. They're collecting capital, not financial capital, but relationship capital. Every connection has potential energy, a bridge to new knowledge, new deals, new opportunities. That's why the richest people rarely operate alone. They understand that a strong network multiplies results faster than compound interest ever could. Warren Buffett often says, "Your reputation is like a snowball. It builds as it rolls." Each person who trusts you, vouches for you, or refers you adds a layer to that snowball. Credibility that money can't buy. Think about it. One introduction can change your entire financial trajectory. A single mentor can save you years of mistakes, and a trusted partner can double your income while halving your stress. That's why wealthy people invest in people. They mentor, collaborate, and build goodwill before asking for anything. They know every relationship is either an asset or a liability, so they choose their circle with intent. Because your network doesn't just reflect your value, it amplifies it. And once your relationships start opening doors, the next step is to build something that works for you, even when you're asleep. Once upon a time, you needed a factory to make money while you slept. Today, all you need is Wi-Fi and consistency. Online assets, YouTube channels, digital courses, newsletters, ebooks, even social media pages are the new generation of cash flow machines. They work 24/7, never get tired, and don't ask for raises. Here's the secret most people miss. These assets scale without permission. You don't need a boss, an investor, or even an office. You just need a skill, a story, or a solution someone else values. Robert Kiyosaki built a financial empire from one simple book. Graham Stephan turned YouTube videos about money into millions in passive income. They didn't sell hours, they sold ideas that multiplied through the internet. And that's the leverage digital assets give you. They compound attention the same way investments compound interest. Each video, post, or product becomes a tiny digital employee, earning views, sales, and trust long after you've logged off. So instead of scrolling endlessly, imagine building something once and getting paid forever. Because the internet never sleeps, and neither should your income streams. But all those gains mean nothing if you can't sustain the person behind them. It's easy to forget that your body is your first business. It's the machine that powers every decision, every deal, every dollar you'll ever make. Yet most people treat it like a rental, run it hard, ignore maintenance and hope it doesn't break down. But here's the truth. The wealthy quietly live by. Health isn't a cost, it's capital. Every workout, every meal, every hour of sleep is an investment with compounding returns. Because when you're strong, focused and energized, you think better, you decide better, you create better. Productivity, clarity and longevity, all dividends of good health. Think about it. What's the point of achieving financial freedom if you're too tired or sick to enjoy it? Warren Buffett once said, "You only get one mind and one body for the rest of your life. If you don't take care of them, you're wrecked." That's why many high performers treat health as part of their wealth portfolio, scheduling it like a meeting, protecting it like an asset. Because when you have energy, you have time, and when you have both, you can build anything. And that brings us to the next hidden asset, one you can't buy back once it's gone. Time is the one asset everyone has, but few protect. You can lose money and earn it back. But once time slips away, it's gone forever. Here's the paradox. The younger you are, the richer you secretly are, because time is the ultimate multiplier. Warren Buffett built 99% of his wealth after age 50. Not because he found a magic investment, but because he started early and let time do the heavy lifting. That's compounding in action. Small, consistent steps turning into unstoppable momentum. A single dollar, wisely invested, doubles again and again, not through luck, but through patience. But here's what most people miss. Time doesn't just compound money, it compounds decisions. Every book you read, every skill you sharpen, every good habit you repeat, multiplies quietly in the background. And the longer you invest in yourself, the harder your future works for you. That's why the wealthy treat time as sacred. They buy back hours, delegate tasks, automate routines, anything to protect their most valuable resource. Because time creates leverage, and leverage creates freedom. Now, combine that silent power with something tangible, an asset that protects value even when currencies crumble. Every empire in history has fallen for one reason. Paper promises eventually break. Currencies come and go, economies rise and collapse, but certain things never lose value. Food, energy and metals. These are commodities, the world's oldest and most trusted form of wealth. Gold, silver, oil, even wheat or water. They hold value not because someone printed them, but because civilization needs them. Robert Kiyosaki calls gold and silver God's money. You can't create them from thin air, and that's exactly why they protect you when everything else burns. When inflation rises, your cash loses buying power. But commodities often rise in price, not by magic, but by demand. People will always need energy to move, food to survive, and metals to build. That's why the wealthy diversify into real assets, things you can touch, not just trust. They understand that the dollar isn't wealth, it's a claim on wealth. And when that claim weakens, tangible value becomes your safety net. Owning a little gold, a little silver, or even investing in energy or agriculture isn't about getting rich quick. It's about staying rich long enough to enjoy what you've built. But commodities alone don't create growth, they protect it. To grow wealth, you need to put money to work in the markets. Paper assets, stocks, bonds, index funds are where money starts to work smarter than you ever could. Every share you buy is a small ownership stake in someone else's effort, innovation, or success. Instead of running every business yourself, you let capital do the running. That's what makes the stock market so powerful. It's a marketplace for opportunity, and the wealthy understand its true purpose leverage. Warren Buffett calls the stock market a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. Because the math is simple, but the discipline is rare. A few $100s consistently invested in quality companies month after month compounds into freedom over time. Paper assets also give you access to diversification. Stocks grow wealth. Bonds preserve it. Mutual funds and ETFs balance the two. Together, they form the financial backbone that supports every modern portfolio. But here's the mindset shift. Don't see investing as gambling. See it as ownership. Every dividend is your share of global productivity. Every market dip is a temporary discount, not a disaster. Because over decades, the graph of progress only points one way. Patusapertup. And while paper assets build wealth on screens, there's another kind of asset that builds wealth you can see, touch, and live in. Ones. Real estate is more than land, walls, and roofs. It's a system that turns leverage into freedom. It's actually one of the few assets where you can use other people's money, the banks, the tenants, and even inflations, to build long-term wealth. When you buy a property with a mortgage, the bank puts up most of the money. Your tenant pays the loan through rent, and over time, inflation quietly increases the property's value, while your debt stays fixed. That's leverage in its purest form. Real estate gives you three kinds of income. Cash flow, rent that covers expenses and puts money in your pocket. Appreciation, rising property value over years. Tax advantages, deductions that keep more of what you earn. It's also one of the few investments you can touch. You can walk into it, improve it, and make it work harder for you. But here's the truth. Real estate isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about staying wealthy forever. That's why many millionaires hold property even when they don't need the income. Because land doesn't vanish, and people always need a place to live, work, or build. But once your assets start working for you, cash, stocks, property, and business, there's one thing that ties them all together. A purpose that turns wealth into legacy. If cash, stocks, and real estate make money, a business multiplies it. Every self-made millionaire will tell you the same thing. Owning a business is the most powerful way to scale wealth. Why? Because a business doesn't trade time for money. It trades systems, products, and leverage. Think of it this way. An employee can earn $50 an hour. A business owner can create a system that earns $50, $500, or even $5,000 per hour, long after they've stopped working. Entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Sarah Blakely didn't just work hard. They built machines that work harder than they ever could. And the beauty of a business is its compounding power. Customers, products, and processes scale. Profits grow. Brand value multiplies. You're no longer limited by your own hours, energy, or skills. The business becomes a legacy asset, able to generate wealth for years. Of course, it requires vision, risk tolerance, and persistence. But the payoff isn't just money. It's freedom, financial, creative, and time freedom. And yet, even a thriving business won't reach its full potential without the invisible force that drives all wealth creation. All the cash, real estate, stocks, and businesses in the world won't make you wealthy if your mindset isn't built for it. Mindset is the silent engine behind every decision, every opportunity, every risk you take. It's what turns a simple idea into a thriving business, a small investment into a fortune, and challenges into stepping stones. Rich people treat mindset as a core asset, more valuable than any stock or property. They invest in discipline, long-term thinking, and emotional resilience. They read, they reflect, they learn from mistakes, and they adjust before crises become disasters. Without it, even the best assets can fail. With it, even modest resources multiply, because a sharp, strategic mind knows how to deploy them. Think of mindset as the key that unlocks all 8 assets we've covered. It helps you move beyond cash. It builds relationships. It drives digital growth. It protects your health. It respects the power of time. It understands commodities and paper assets. It leverages real estate and business to their fullest potential. Because when your thinking is clear, disciplined, and creative, wealth isn't just a number. It's a system that works for you. And that is the ultimate invisible asset, the one that ensures all other assets continue to grow year after year. So, there you have it, the 8 assets that truly create lasting wealth. Cash isn't enough. Your network, online assets, health, time, commodities, paper investments, real estate and business, all of them matter. And at the center of it all, your mindset, the invisible asset that multiplies everything else. The practical takeaway is simple. Start today. Invest in at least one tangible asset, maybe a small stock, a course, or a side business. Invest in yourself, your knowledge, habits, and health, and protect your mindset. It's the compass that keeps your wealth journey on track. Remember, building wealth isn't a sprint, it's a system. One small, smart decision at a time compounds into freedom, security, and opportunity over years, even decades. If this video gave you insight, hit like and consider subscribing for more strategies.